Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. Fresh out the bed with Laker rumors or not news, but more so rumors. But I don't think this is a rumors. It's somewhere in between the two. This is more so just chatter about who they're trying to fill the roster spot with. They have two left. We've already discussed on this channel a few players that they're talking about, but we got a new one. Svi Mykhailiuk. He last played for the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Detroit Pistons, and of course, drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers. He's one of our kids, man. One of our kids. I know a lot of Laker fans. I'm looking at the forums as I often do on Facebook, seeing what people think. And, most Laker fans want him back. The other half don't know who he is. A lot of people, the people who know who he is want him back. The people who don't are not interested. This is one of those type of situations from the forum that I saw. For me, I never stopped believing in Svi Mykhailiuk. I still feel the same way about Svi Mykhailiuk as I did when we drafted him and when we saw him play in Summer League. All of that. I'm still perplexed by us trading him to Detroit for whatever we traded him for, and I'm still perplexed by us trading Zubac to the Clippers. Those were two situations. I think they happened the same time, but I don't really remember. But those are two situations that I just did not understand at all. I still don't understand why Svi ain't on this team, to be honest with you. I don't think I even talked about it because, to be honest with you, he was a back of the bench player who wasn't getting the role on this team. And I felt like if he were to go to Detroit, he would get a chance to spread his wings a little better than he would here. But as far as his skill set, what he brings to the table, his youth and his timeline, at the time, before we started doing all this, to get AD and all that, there was literally no reason in my mind to not bring him back and keep him on and just grow him out. He's a shooter. He's fast-paced. He has defensive-minded mentality. Even though he's not a defender, I've seen how he moves defensively. I know he's active on that side of the ball. He has fantastic handles. People don't realize how much pop this dude has and how good his footwork is and how athletic he is. And most importantly, he's a shooter. He is a shooter. He jumps out of bed, he shoots threes. And he could drive at the basket. Like I said, he got fantastic handles. He has above average athleticism. And this little young fella is a weapon that has not been cultivated in this league at all. Has not been given an opportunity to do what it is that he does very, very well. Now, here's the problem. I don't know how he gets that here. He comes back here, he gets garbage time. He didn't play. He stays in the trajectory that his career is going, which I think is below what his skill set and his ability is. And I've said this, and I say this a lot. This is becoming a situation where the entire league is just getting to a point where it's like we have a lot of inflow of talent, and every year new, even more explosive talent comes in. And it's just like some of the guys who get drafted 3-4 years ago who were maybe in the second round, late first round. It's almost like they get pushed aside and they don't get the opportunities to show them cultivate themselves and come into their own, because you got these explosive guys continuing to jump into the league and just snatch up winning spots and just go forward. Look at a guy like Motorcade. Whoever was on that team in Detroit, you look at like Killian Hayes, he just has to step aside. You know what I mean? And it ain't even about whether or not he's proven himself to do so. He's going to prove himself now in the midst of having a guy come in who's just giving the keys to the car. So nothing's wrong with that other than the fact that you got guys like Svi, Killian Hayes, and whomever just don't ever get a chance to show what it is that they are in the roles that they should be given. More teams, NBA. And I've said this a million times, and I know you guys are working on it, but it's becoming serious. You need more teams. And nobody would be happier than me if you take a team like the Clippers and move them to Seattle. But that's not the solution. Not in regards to what we're talking about. You need to keep the Clippers here and add more teams. You need to have more teams. I'm not saying keep the Clippers here. Move them, please. But seriously, it's not about shuffling teams to different cities in this conversation. We're talking about making it so that you have more teams for players to show their talent. If you have another two teams, then suddenly a lot of this falls back into place. This is what I was talking about. If you guys saw my video where I was talking about my draft picks and things that I did at fantasy basketball recently, you understand the difference between being in 12-team leagues, 14 leagues, and 10-team leagues. We discussed it. It's the same thing in real life too. If you have more teams, there's less on the waiver wire for you to choose from. You have to get more creative in finding talent. And most importantly, you have a lot more balance on your roster so that you don't get over log jammed in one position or several positions and stuff like that, keeping players you love but you can't pay for because of the salary cap and things of that nature. You get more teams, it spreads that out, and it kind of helps balance out that talent influx and inflow. So I think that's a huge priority, and I think it's something they should probably try to do quicker than probably they're looking to do it. But nevertheless, as a fan and as somebody who wants to see Svi back on his team, I'm super excited. But as somebody who wants to see Svi get an opportunity, I don't know that he'll find it in this team. If anything, I'm looking at him as just saying he's a plethora of riches. If we start having COVID issues and guys like Malik Monk and Kent Bazemore, guys like that get hurt, we will have a guy like Svi step in and be able to play bench minutes. That's not the role I want Svi in. I want Svi to be maybe my 8th, 9th guy off the bench, getting Lou Williams type of opportunities in terms of first guy off the bench, second guy off the bench at the shooting guard position, looking to score. That's the type of role Svi is in my mind. When he fully develops, that's him. He's your guy that you say, okay, get in here, score on them dudes. Get in here and string together 8 straight points to help booster this league that we got. Somebody got in foul trouble. You get in here and do exactly what you do. We're going to surround you with players that are big, strong, that can help erase your mistakes. You got Dwight Howard and AD down there. Svi's playing with somebody like Russell Westbrook. He can be the guy that spaces the floor for a guy like Russie. Stand in the corner, get out the way, let Russie do all the stuff that he does, catch it, and then put it in triple threat, do whatever you want to do. That's the type of role I want to see Svi in for this roster. But we have that already. We have that in Kendrick Nunn. We have that in several guys. So it's, THT is going to eat all those minutes. So it's just not a real opportunity for a guy like Svi to get the type of opportunity that I believe he should have. So that's the only thing. But he doesn't have a role right now at all. And he was in a losing situation, not really playing as much too. And they had him in OKC. There was nothing to see there. They're not playing for anything. I think if he were to return to go OKC, I think he will have probably as good an opportunity as any in the league going forward. But it's still more of the same. I don't think they're playing for anything this year, needless to say. Until they do something with all of their picks, they're kind of just gonna develop the youngsters that they pick up, the Baisleys, the Shays, people like that. That's where they're at. Svi would get some playing time, but he would have no leadership around him to help build his talent up. In theory, the Lakers would definitely provide him the experience of being on a legitimate winning team, surround some real legitimate stars, pros that'll help him kind of figure himself out in this league. And of course, as I said, he should have never been gone in the first place. There was really no legitimate reason to let the guy go. He wasn't making a lot of money, so you didn't shave him off for cap reasons. Excuse me. Not old. He didn't suck. He's not bad in the locker room. He's not somebody that you're looking at and saying, okay, this guy is such a liability. When I call his number, we're going to take our time and wait on him. He didn't show us a bunch of bad stuff when we put him on the floor. I mean, there was literally no reason to let him go. It's still one of the head scratchers for me. So with that being said, of course we should bring him back. And despite everything I just said, this particular Laker team is more so fit for what he does than that he was on with us, with the kids, because we need shooters. He's a shooter. Open shots are coming for shooters. This is an entirely different situation than he's leaving. Entirely different purple and gold that he's putting on, just like everybody else who's put on this uniform before. Entirely different team, with the exception of Dwight and Trev, who's won with us as well. But this is a great opportunity for Svi Mykhailiuk to be a part of something that will allow him to get an early ring in his career, which is really, really good for a lot of guys in his lane. Because if it doesn't work out in their careers, he can get that ring and have that always attached to them. But I'm hopeful that Svi won't have to leave the league to play, to get some playing time. I think he's somebody who has clearly got enough pop in his legs to keep the speed going in this fast-paced NBA and to keep your spacing going in this fast-paced NBA. So I'm a believer. I would welcome him back quickly, and I would give him a role if I had one. But if I don't have a role for him and he wanted to be here anyway, I'd be happy to bring Svi back. I'm big on Svi, always was. Happy that we're looking at him. Hopefully the Lakers will give him one of the spots. For me, and you guys know this, I'm going to take the young guy over the old guy every time, especially with the age on our roster. This ain't how I build. This ain't how I build. Now, I love what we have, and I think that it fits. But if you're looking for Brandon to tell you his vision surrounding those three players, I like the stars that we got, but some of them old guys on the back, the Trevs and all them dudes ain't there. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I'm not getting Trev, and I'm not gonna be. I love Carmelo, so I'm keeping Carmelo, but it's a couple of guys on this bench. They're just not. I'm not certain what we're getting from this stage in their careers. But, you got a guy like Svi Mykhailiuk, and I feel a lot better about those guards. I feel a lot better the depth that we have. COVID protocol is the name of the game. You're going to have that happen again. You know it. It's not a question. I love everyone when I say this, but the vaccines are only working but so much. Let's just keep it real. It's only going so far as the accuracy and the efficiency of being able to prevent that thing from still affecting what we got going on in our lives. So at this point, the deeper the team, the better. More so than any other season ever. The deeper the team, the better. Because you know and I know guys are going to be coming in and out of their lineup for no reason whatsoever. I'm sorry, it just is what it is. Just got to live with it. And it's not no reason, you know what I'm saying. But, look. The Los Angeles Lakers are in a position to win a championship. So, playing it smart in terms of making sure you have everything you need is a very good thing. Svi does not feel a need. That's what I have to be honest with all of y'all about. He don't feel a need. He doesn't feel a need. But the other names that we're looking at, with all due respect to all of them, they don't either. Rondo, for me, feels a need as it pertains to a coach, but we don't have to use a roster spot on homie if he retires and becomes a coach, which I would try to encourage him to do, because at this point in time, we need him here, but we don't necessarily need him taking a roster spot. Now, I don't know where he is in his career, if he wants to keep playing or not. If he wants to keep playing, I encourage him to do so. This is not me saying, yo, Rondo, retire for the sake of the Lakers. I'm saying, look, there's a position with the Los Angeles Lakers that has a championship attached to it. The Lakers want you here, but if they wanted you to take a roster spot, I don't think you would haven't been signed already. I think you would already be signed. So, if I'm Rondo and I want to be a part of this, I don't know where his head is, who knows? I would come as a coach for the betterment of the team. I would come as a coach because you got to understand you're not gonna play anyway. With all due respect to my boy Rondo, once you get here, bro, you're gonna play probably about 30 games at the most, maybe about 5 minutes apiece, garbage time. This ain't gonna be like 2020 because we have Westbrook, bro, and he's high usage to say the least. It ain't gonna be no, Westbrook's gonna come out and we're gonna bring in Rondo for more than half a game. Nah, nope. Rusty's going to get his normal 30-plus minutes, and that's going to be that. And like I said, THT is best with the ball in his hands, so probably he's going to be getting the ball. LeBron James, of course. Rondo's role ain't going to be the same. What we need from Rondo is his mind. What we didn't have last year was his mind. Showing us what he sees out there, helping us scheme against certain teams, helping us manage the Drummond, Harrell conundrum that our coach is struggling with. It's just very obvious to me that Rondo, coupled with LeBron James, coupled with the coaching staff that we had in 2020, is what helped propel us to the championship from a schematic standpoint. The stories are out there. Rondo, Dudley, Bron, them dudes are studying film like crazy. And that dynamic is not the same without them. Being that we're losing some guys, Dudley, Kidd, etc., we need to bring back basketball minds that can help us with that. Cut and dry, Brandon's opinion, I don't trust Frank Vogel like that. Now, I like him, and I've been on the record saying I, at the time, had him valued above the two coaches in the Western Conference Finals just now from the Clippers and the Suns, who were both trying to get this job, Ty Lue and my guy, Monty Williams. I did value him higher than those guys at the time, and since we've won a championship, so there's nothing to dislike. But like I said, that situation with Montrez, head scratcher. I didn't like it. I didn't like the optics of it. It reminded me too much of some of the stuff that I'd seen from previous Laker eras where we did dumb stuff like that with players. Thinking about D'Angelo Russell particularly. I just don't, excuse me, I don't like that kind of stuff. If you don't like a guy, or if you don't think he can work in your system, or you're trying to implement a new guy, there are ways to go about it without removing a talented player from the roster. Montrezl Harrell could have helped us tremendously. His size woes were way overstated as it pertained to his production on the basketball floor when he played for the Los Angeles Lakers. What we saw out there was not nearly as much bad as what we saw from Andre Drummond. Not even close. And that's something that has been bothering me, and it's something I can't shake going into this season, knowing that we have this puzzle piece of a roster and looking at that defensive coach and knowing damn well that he's not the guy to be shuffling around these roster pieces. He ain't the guy. I like him teaching defense, but he needs help there. He needs Rondo in there to help him with that. He needs coaching staff people in there to help him with that, because that's not his strength, man. You know, Vogel's a guy who really good. He's really good at keep teaching defense. He's already won a championship. I love what he did in Indiana with that Paul George-led team, with that big roster. They got close to the King, and then King does what the King does in the Eastern Conference at that era. But they were legit. That's why he's here, in my opinion. It's because of that job he did in that team. But his other tenures anywhere and everywhere else haven't been up to that level. And with the exception of the championship team that we had, those are the two successful squads that he's had. I don't want to fire Frank Vogel. I'm not mad at extending him. I just want to make sure that we have things that supplement his weaknesses. I think every coach should be surrounding themselves with people that can help them with the stuff they are not as good at. And for me, just like with Luke Walton, there are some rotation concerns. Now, not nearly as bad as my man Luke. Luke was pretty bad at that. And it was a lot said about that. But for me, Frank Vogel, this situation with Montrez just kind of took some of the confidence I have in him being able to balance out a roster by himself, in theory by himself. It's kind of taking that confidence from me. I just don't see that in him. So that's my thing. Just a little worried about how our chemistry is going to be because of that shuffling of the roster. So all in all, I didn't want to make this about Trez, but that's going to be something that I want to see us not have an issue with this year. That's why I want Rondo to come in and ultimately be back with this roster without taking up a roster spot, because we need a big and we could use more youth. As to which, bringing in Svi makes sense, and DeAndre Jordan possibly makes sense. Kevin Love, somebody they like, even though I don't think he fits the need as the big. I don't think he has a lot of physicality left in his body at this stage. But if you're asking him to stand in the corner and shoot threes while other people draw attention, he's still very much capable of doing that. So that's why I would bring in Kevin Love. But, you know, we need more so a player who can give us a little more size. I would prefer that player be able to shoot as well. You know, and that's something that I think a lot of Laker fans are looking at in regards to some of the guards that we're paying attention to in the waiver wire. The Isaiah Thomases and the Svies and people like that. And they're saying, nah, get us one more big. I just don't think DeAndre Jordan is the answer for me. And I don't know who's out there. That's my thing. So I'd have to take a look at that. A million times over, I've said the name Isaiah Hartenstein, but I don't think the Lakers even know who he is. So, but he would be the guy I'd pick up right now. I don't think he's going to cost us more than $2 million, because his free agency situation is a bit murky, and the Cleveland Cavaliers just added another high-paying power forward to their roster, so I don't see him coming back there. And I don't even know who's paying attention to him. He might not even be in the league next year, and I think that would be just a dropping the ball for NBA scouts all over the league, in my opinion. So, but that's just me. Unless you have somebody in there saying, hey, look at this guy, nobody's even thinking about that kind of thing. So it is what it is. But if the Lakers were to happen to sign a guy by the name of Isaiah Hartenstein, you would see me make an entire video about it. But they won't. They're not even looking at him. So it is what it is. But yeah, man, that's what I got, man. My name is BDF44. Hopefully we can fill out this roster spot very soon. And look, if I'm throwing two names out there that I'd say, okay, if the Lakers just go real quick and just sign somebody, this is what we're going to do. It's James Ennis and Svi Mykhailiuk. Why? Because they're younger than everybody else we're looking at, and we're already old as hell. And both of those guys shoot the ball very, very well. James Ennis is a 40-point three-point shooter. Not going to cost us a whole lot. Not a guy that has a big cachet in this league. He could sit for 1 million games and it not be a problem. Come in and shoot threes is exactly what we want him to do. And he can play some 4, some 3, big body. We may be able to get away with putting him at the 5 if we have to, although we should never have to. But he's a guy that I think would be multi-positional, fit in what we're doing, have a defensive mindset, mature enough to come in and do what he's supposed to do, but not too young to where he messes up the locker room in any way, shape, or form. James Ennis is probably the most logical choice of the pieces I've seen in regards to what we're talking about. He's almost what we need. A big-ish kind of guy that can really, really shoot. So he should have been signed already. If he's looking at the Lakers, that's one of the spots right there. The other one for me would be Smee, because I like going young. But if you want to feel the need, while still kind of getting things done in a way that makes a little sense, it's Kevin Love. James Ennis and Kevin Love, two big-time three-point shooters, two guys that you can put in at the 4 spot particularly. Two guys that are going to come in and have maturity. Obviously, Kevin Love, championship experience, LeBron James experience, LA, home roots. I think that makes sense. I'm not sure where James Ennis is from. He might be from out here too. I don't know. But these are the type of things I'm saying. Like, if you just want to play it smart, you want to give LeBron James something since you took away his boy Duds and he's very upset about that. You may want to bring his boy K Love in here and see if that'll kind of help a little bit. I know he had a little static with K Love, but I don't think it was deep. I think it was just brotherly frustration during difficult times in Cleveland. I don't think it was deep at all. So that's what I got. I also love Isaiah Thomas. For what it's worth, I love us bringing Isaiah Thomas in for sentimental reasons, for open shot reasons. I think if you leave him alone, you're asking for trouble. And I think he'd be left alone on this team. So I like bringing him in too. But yeah, if it's up to me, Kevin Love, James Ennis. DeAndre Jordan doesn't stretch the floor. I don't know how much he has left. If I want somebody who doesn't have a whole lot left, I want to make sure they do that thing I need them to do. You know, I bring in DeAndre Jordan and he can't rebound and he can't do the things he used to do, then he's useless. At least I know Kevin Love can go into a YMCA gym 25 years from now and hit 10 threes in a row. I have no doubt about it. If he can stand, he can shoot. That's all we need him to do. So, that's what I got, man. James Ennis, Kevin Love for my money. If not those guys, bring me Smee. Make sure Svi is on this team if you can. My name is BDF44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.